Hey everybody, I hope your day's going great. It's about to get better. Welcome to this episode of Sustainable Stace. Please grow peas. That's what we're talking about. I'm going to show you about sugar snap peas in our garden, but what I'm going to show you is going to work for any type of peas you want to grow. We'll cover all the tips and tricks you need to know to have super smashing success with peas. Let's get into it.
I'm Stacy Taves. For me, healthy food and sustainability are totally connected. You can grow it yourself. Nature is generous.
Okay guys, I'm standing full height. My full height's almost 2 meters. I'm almost 6 feet tall. My peas are as far as I can reach with my hands. It's a smashing successful year, and the numbers of peas that are hanging here on the vines are absolutely incredible. We've had such great success. It's one of those beautiful crops that I do want to encourage you to grow because you put very little effort in at the start to getting them growing, and then they just roll with it. Now they're very unique in their timing. They love late spring when it's getting warm before a hot, heavy summer type of heat. They also work really great in the fall or as summer is closing out and things are cooling down again. If you want to think about when's a good time to grow peas, a great similarity would be when's a great time to grow lettuce. It doesn't love really hot. It likes the cooler time, late spring, and again late summer. So we're going to talk about the spacing of the plants and the type of soil preparation. We've mentioned a little bit about the timing now. These specifically are a sugar snap pea variety. How about if I just tell you a little bit about different types of peas? If you were like me as a little dude, I grew up in my grandma's garden and I was shucking peas, which means we had to pop them like this and then break them open. This isn't mature enough to do that. And when we break it open inside, we'd get these tiny little peas that were inside because we would only eat the seeds inside because my grandma unfortunately grew shucking peas, or garden peas, some would call them, or English peas. So I grew up shucking these English peas where you had to pop every pod open and with your thumb scoop out all the peas, and you did it when they were big and mature. The least favorite of all the peas are those ones for me. The more common type of pea that came on in the 80s and the 90s are big and flat, and they're called snow peas, and you almost don't eat any pea inside. It's mostly about the pod that you eat, and it's big and flat. They can be quite tasty as well, but these are a cross of the two. The big flat snow pea and the English garden pea combined together to make a sugar snap pea that's moderately round, and the flavor of the peas inside is incredible, but it's not too fibrous of a pod and you can eat it as well. It's actually my dog Soda Pop's favorite treat in the garden over berries and everything else that I feed him. He loves sugar snap peas because they're so flavorful and you get so much yield when you plant a few seeds. All the plants that I'm growing take up 2 hand spans, about 4 meters long, and it's feeding a family of 6. I placed my peas about 4 to 6 inches apart when I put the seeds in the ground. I'm going to take you around to the other side of the row and we'll look at them a little bit more and talk about trellising and supporting the plants because they don't stand up straight and tall on their own like a corn stalk. They need some help. So 2 other things, guys, to consider regarding the planting timing. I mentioned you want to get that cool time just as it's starting to get warm but not too hot. In my case, on Western Vancouver Island in Canada, I want to make sure that all the frost is passed for the season before I put a seed in the ground, or it will not germinate. It'll rot, it'll die, it'll get eaten. I got to wait till the end of April when our frost wraps up, and I don't start planting my peas in the garden until May. I try transplanting now and then. They don't tend to be as hardy. If I get a garden start from a nursery and I bring it here, it usually gets shocked when it gets put in the ground. I have best success putting my seeds right in the soil. What type of soil, you might ask? Good question. Not the heavy clay that's naturally where I live. I have to loosen up the soil and amend it quite a bit. So when I dig my furrow or my trench, which has my irrigation line beside it, and I put my seeds in there 4 to 6 inches apart, 10 to 15 centimeters, I make sure there's lots of my compost, which I build myself. I've got a video on that on how to build good soil. Compost would be our household food scraps mixed together with chicken manure for my chickens, and all that is light and it's really nutritious and full of life for those seeds so that you get way more pods, way more peas, way more food coming off your vines because you've got rich, nutritious soil. You can't have thick, heavy stuff that's going to hold moisture and not release a lot of nutrition. So plant at the right time, get a good mix of compost and lots of amendments in your soil, and your peas are going to love you for it. Please grow peas. I would argue, I would contend, I would affirm that getting your little kids hooked on sugar snap peas is a great way to have them eating their 6 to 8 servings of veggies as they grow up into bigger humans. Sugar snap peas are the bomb. When you start eating these as if they're your summer candy, you got a good habit going on. Now, I got a little bit surprised when I grew these peas this year because I had the seeds sitting in a bag in my barn, and I had no idea how tall they were going to grow because I couldn't remember, I hadn't put any notes down on where those seeds had come from. I just knew that they were sugar snap peas. And so I put up behind me some fence posts, and I took some fencing that's 4 feet tall. It's like animal livestock fencing, and it's 4 feet tall, so it's a bit over a meter tall. And I stretched it between the fence posts, and I planted my seeds 4 to 6 inches apart, like 10 to 15 centimeters apart along the base. And I have one drip irrigation line where the seeds are right at the base of this trellising wire, and I thought, oh, this will be great, it'll support them. And the plants started to grow, because I've grown sugar snap peas before and snow peas before, and the plants only grew about 2 feet tall, like a bit over half a meter. These grew past the 4 feet height. They kept on growing, and now they're at 8 feet high. They're as tall as I can reach when I'm standing up, 2.5 meters tall. Well, the body and the trunk of a pea plant can't support itself. It's hollow and it's quite frail, which is part of the reason it doesn't sustain itself very well when it's getting hot as well. So I had to do a little bit of modification, and you can see here behind, I'll just stand up for a sec, that I had to put some strings in between, first down one side, then I lifted up the pea plants that had fallen over, and then I put them up on the other side. So there's string now on both sides that's supporting the peas, and that's holding them up. But it's been a little bit hard on the stalks. It's also been a flash of hot weather where we live, and so that's slowing down their life cycle. It's coming to an end, but they're still doing quite well, and they're producing madly. So every day we pick a couple big cereal bowls of snow peas, and we're eating them fresh. We're putting them in pasta salads, and we're eating them in stir fries as well. I've got another variety of peas further down, and they're not snow peas, they're not sugar snap peas, and they're not English garden peas. They're a type of pea that's a French variety. If you don't speak French, you'd say Saint Hubert. If you'd speak French, you'd maybe say Saint Hubert. And they're meant to grow mature like a dry bean, and then you'll shuck them and take the dry bean, or in this case pea seed, from inside, and it's like a French soup pea that it's meant to be. So I'll show you those in a second. So that's a little bit of what I did for structure. So you want to know, like I didn't know, the height potential of the plant at the start of the season, and build a trellis so that whether it's strings or lines or ropes or fencing, you've got something that they're going to be able to grow and grab onto, because they got little tendrils that'll come off the stalks, and they'll hook on and hook on and hook on, just like a little insect climbing up. Once they hook on, they're going to grab pretty well, but there's got to be something to hook onto. And in my case, 4-foot fencing, 8-foot plant didn't work out too well, so I had to do kind of a last-ditch salvation method. So I'll just take you down and show you the Saint Hubert peas here. These are the French dry soup peas that I told you about, the Saint Huberts. Now I just popped one off the vine, and you can see the seeds are just getting growing, and they're not fully mature yet, so I'm going to let them keep on growing until they actually dry out. If you've never grown dry peas or dry beans before, check out my video on my channel called Harvesting Dry Beans. It'll help you along the way as you grow. So these are going to keep on letting grow till further maturity, whereas snap peas or snow peas, you'd keep on picking through the season to stimulate more flowering and more growth, because every time they pop those beautiful flowers off, they start to grow more. Now you can tell, I've shown you many different shots of these peas. They're tall, taller than I am, and so don't put them on the south side of your garden bed unless you expect everything else to grow in complete shade. Put them on the north side of your garden bed so that all the other plants that are in the garden bed also get light. But if you do want to grow something that loves coolness, like let's say spinach or tatsoi or some other Asian green, you could put them on the north side of your peas. Just like pole beans, they'll provide a beautiful shade, less direct light on the plant, and a much cooler climate for you. So yeah, baby. Please grow peas, like I said. If you've been watching this on my YouTube channel, guys, please subscribe. Ring that little bell there so you can get a regular message in your inbox that there's more hopeful, helpful, healthy hints coming at you from Sustainable Stace. Till next time. If you've ever wanted to grow veggies yourself, but you're not sure how, I'll take you to that place. I'm Sustainable Stace. I've got this awesome year-long class from scoping out where you're going to grow your garden, right through to harvesting it all, and then planting fall and winter veggies and garlic, and caring for soil and seeds and everything in between. I call it getbackyardabundance.com, and if you check out the link below, it's easy to follow. A whole year of classes online to take you from veggie curious to veggie confident. Getbackyardabundance.com. Check it out.